Well, not many has realized there is a slight difference between development and modernization. This video will explain the detailed difference between development and modernization theories, as well as a brief explanation about the most suitable theory for the current global situation, including a case study of Indonesia. Before we start on what is development theory, this video may help you to find out. The first learning outcome is identify the modernization and development theory difference. The second learning outcome is describe theories of development. The third learning outcome is apply the development concept into a case study. And the last learning outcome is analyze the international affairs based on development theory perspective. Distinguishing modernization and development, a case study of inequality in Indonesia. There are various notions of modernization. Word Aristo, for example, identified with industrialization in which cooperation between human creates control over nature. Cyril Black et al. Defines modernization as a process of transformation of society as the result of the revolution in the use of science and technology. According to Remigio Eagapalau, there are two main factors in the definition of modernization, namely time and knowledge. What is meant by the time factor is the link between modernization and the present time where what was previously considered traditional and out of date. What emerges like science and technology must be adopted in the organization of economics and politics. The accumulative mastery of knowledge and technology is very important in the process of modernization, in which modern or developed countries have more knowledge or technology than modern countries. The main problem that occurs in developing countries is the effort of the ruling government to make economic development a source of legitimacy of power, so that it then becomes a kind of ideology that cannot be contested. This is what it's called the symptom of developmentalism, which actually afflict people. The government does everything for development without effective control from the community. Development as a public sphere is monopolized by state, tend to be repressive. The New Order government is an example of a regime which has tackled the ideology of developmentalism. This phenomenon certainly brings various negative impact for the people of Indonesia. In Indonesia, this modernization process was progressing rapidly under the New Order government. It is not surprising that this modernization process raises social and political problems that are felt by the people of Indonesia today. The drastic change brought about by modernization have resulted in social upheaval, ethnic and religious conflict due to social inequalities and value conflicts, separatist movement, and other social problems, especially in urban area. The emergence of this problem in a society is justified by the authorities to implement authoritarian and repressive government politics. According to Remigio Eagapalau, there are three main indicators of political development, namely the establishment of the law, civility, a sense of togetherness, and equality to defend the public interest, prioritizing dialogue and not coercion of the will, seeking consensus and avoiding the use of violence, and social justice. The most useful development theory. In his book entitled Getting to the 21st Century, Voluntary Action and the Global Agenda, David C. Corton, 1990, stated that the growth-centered economic development model has created a widening gap between the rich and poor and the ecological crisis that threatens the future human life and world civilization. There are three main elements found in the global crisis as a result of an emphasis on expansive economic growth. The three elements are poverty, environmental damage, and communal violence. It is said that in 1990, the global economic output per year reached 4 times compared with the achievement in 1950. If economic growth is truly a solution, the world should not experience a wider spread of poverty, environmental damage, that it's getting worse, and social disintegration known as violence. We also have a wrong perception about the carrying capacity of natural resources, which turns out to be limited, and even in the 21st century, Indonesia has to face the scarcity of oil, natural gas, and clean water. In his analysis, Corton builds a contrast between economic growth and ecology and community life, because economic growth creates economic inequality and destroys the environment. The more a society pursues economic growth, the more social integration in the community is strengthened, so that a human community is no longer created. Modernization always contains hegemony by humans over other humans and hegemony over nature.